That's a pretty good visual. Just a giant, well, giant on the map. Really hard to imagine them existing and doing stuff, kind of, because like he's so huge he dwarfs the very concept of like space and areas and so on. Like he's so big that the snake isn't that big. Like their heads are about the same size. Like I mean a snake whose head is the size of my head is a pretty big snake, but not like the monumentally gargantuan nightmare behemoth that we see in this game. It's weird how as we pull the map out, the rest of his body seems to have vanished from existence. He's just kind of sticking out there. Did I imagine that? I feel like he used to have a body on the map, and now he doesn't. Maybe I'm imagining that. Maybe his body's still sticking out there, but just kind of in spots I can't reach for the most part or something. But like, this guy's fucking big. Like, here's the entire circle of where we lived at the beginning of the game. I spent like an hour and a half walking around in there at the beginning of this playthrough. And he's that much bigger than just that. And he was a living creature. And they're frost giants? I guess they have to be magic. Because like, I think about dinosaurs and stuff, and like dinosaurs were like de facto hot-blooded because like dinosaurs were cold-blooded, I believe, as like a concept. Like they worked the way that cold-blooded creatures work nowadays, but they were so fucking huge that the very concept of like their metabolism and body heat as a concept, just from the sheer mass of them, led to their body heat being so high because they just had so much mass compared to surface area that they just had an incredible amount of heat coming out, which is why stuff like that one guy with the big fin on his back and stuff like that would do this, would exist in that form, is because like those kinds of adaptations and also wings as a concept started off as like cooling fins. Like those kinds of fins existed just as a way to run your blood through a thin membrane of flesh that increased your overall surface area so that you could cool off more effectively by coursing your blood through that webbing, essentially. Like that's basically what that was, is that their blood was being sent up into that fin and that cools their whole body off because it goes through all that surface area. If like dinosaurs had like an upper limit to how big they could get because they could eventually boil alive by getting larger. So yeah, he's definitely magic, which isn't really much of a surprise because that's how all this works. But you got to be artificially magically cold and a frost giant to possibly be anywhere like this big and be a creature that is alive and walks around. Like, there's a reason, perhaps, why all the largest creatures known to live on Earth all exist in the deep ocean and stuff like that, because being out in the sun is not an effective cooling system compared to perhaps being subaquatic and all that, but I don't know much about oceanic creatures and all that. Just kind of throwing out ideas there.
I came here on a diplomatic mission once, trying to broker a peace between Asgard and Vanaheim. That war. So many lives lost. What I didn't know was Thor had already gone on a killing spree of giants.
What do the giants have to do with the war between the gods?
Nothing at all. That's the tragedy of it. They took no side in that madness. But Odin's paranoia is surpassed only by Thor's lust for blood.
They do like power and killing shit. Wow, that's his hand. Look at all the fingerprints and stuff. Those are the fingerprints on his hands are big enough ridges that you could use them as handholds for climbing. That'd be kind of a cool detail if they had us climbing on his finger ridges. I don't like saying that sentence. Oop. Shadoop. Shadoop. Shadoop, dadoop, 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 dadoop. Oh, I can climb in all sorts of directions around here. I bet one of these directions is a secret. But I don't know which one. But I don't know which one. I think I chose the wrong one. But I'm not sure.
Another crystal.
Kaboomba.
Huh. What now?
It mostly just went jiggly. Ba-boomba.
Ooh, you got most of it.
Try again. Hey, second time's the charm. Oh. Oh, it's still holding on up there.
Well, a stealthy plan it is not.
Now we must free the other strap.
We do?
I can't aim that high. It's a light crystal. Shoot the light crystal. You know what I mean, Atreus? Fucking step up and do it yourself. Ba-boom. Well, there goes those guys. Svartalheim. Oh, that's all you got. Ooh. Okay. I can't go back, can I? I was gonna check to see if there's a secret back there. There might have been. I don't think I'm allowed to get off now, though. Nope. Alright, well, whatever.
Why are we going up when what we need is all the way down there?
Think.
Well, the chisel tip is under thick layers of ice, so melting it won't work.
Correct.
And there weren't any shattered crystals nearby for me to shoot, so that's not an option.
Correct.
I just leave smashing the ice. We need something ridiculously heavy to... Oh, I get it now.
Good.
Yeah, the giant-ass hammer. Be really embarrassing if Kratos kept saying, like, think and stuff like that. Like, as if his plan's so obvious and good. But then his plan was horrible. Like, if his plan... What if his plan was garbage?
Not possible. We cut it free, write it down, and figure out what comes next after.
So your plan involves a whole bunch of luck then?
You are welcome to suggest a different one.
This definitely reminds me a little bit of God of War 4? Or whatever it's called. I don't know. There's like a fourth console one, because there was also handheld ones that also are not numbered, and God of War 4 wasn't numbered, but that was an era where like the last console generation was way too long, so people kept making fourth games, but the fourth games wouldn't have the number 4. Like Gears of War Judgment or whatever the fuck it was called. Like, it's impossible to remember the names of most of these games because they're so forgettable. It's like the last console generation was slightly too long, so they had to make a fourth entry of every single popular franchise, both on Sony and Microsoft's sides of things. But what I'm reminded of from that is the intro chapter of that game. I think featured us like being in like some kind of ruin or building, and the building was being flipped around by a giant, and it kept changing which side was up and which side was down and stuff like that, and we were like hopping around on the outside of that and fighting, which is a cool concept. Mostly just button mashing combat wise, because that's kind of what God of War was. But that kind of like the environments being so mobile but also so huge while being mobile. It's like a whole cool trick. Like, look at the scale of this.
This plan seems ill-advised.
Jump!
That didn't work. It only fell little ways.
Well, then I guess now that we've unhinged it, we got to go all the way up there and knock it over. Push it a bit. But yeah, the scale of that camera angle chosen to show you the belt all the way down there, and just the sheer height of it all is kind of up there just now with the time that I rotated the entire central island of the lake by hand. And you're like, what? He's doing that? And he punches people and they live? It's at times kind of hard to reconcile the power of Kratos during story segments with the power of him during combat. Unless everyone's just that powerful, I guess.
There's a sand bowl, but how do we get to it?
We cannot.
What do you mean? You just jumped right there. You've jumped that distance so many times. You just did a second ago. You just jumped like 50 feet with Atreus. You can't jump that? Because it's not straight? Oh, he can. I almost want Kratos to pop out and be like, it's not giving me the circle command. It's impossible. Because that's the real reason why.
What does it say?
When time itself is disarrayed, the forward path is retrograde. Retrograde? It's backwards.
Those symbols. The seasons?
Yeah, but the order's all jumbled. Shouldn't it be winter, spring, summer, autumn?
Why start with winter?
It's from a song Mother used to sing.
I know that one. Winterland.
Quiet head.
Isn't the music either. Got it.
Winter, spring, summer, autumn. It said they're retrograde, like reversed, right? So I went right to left. I don't know.
Do it.
Oh.
House. Suba. Bar. Vector.
Oh, I was right. I just had to say go. Gotcha.
Atreus, that word.
Thola. It means endure.
Try it.
Thola.
Well done, lad.
I'll try spinning. That's a cool trick. Oh, it's floating.
Thola. The energy's lifting the platform.
Keep writing.
Just write the same word over and over again. Hope you don't fuck it up or we're gonna collapse.
My guess? Temporal magic. Dangerous stuff the high Vanir gods used to play around with. The ability to freeze time. Happened to be a favorite of Njord himself, in fact.
Used to. Why did they stop?
Well, turns out stopping time keeps the sun and moon from streaking across the sky. Unfortunately, it does not stop the wolves that chase them, always looking to sink their teeth in. After that, they decided it was best to leave time alone.
I can't get to the ball.
Well, then we better kill them quick.
I'm not ready.
Guys, we're all gonna fall. Stop it. They don't care.
Well done.
It's clear.
Back to writing before the floor collapses.
I wonder if there was any kind of time limit. That'd be kind of cool. Hola. Hola. Opa. Opa. Sorry. I started thinking of the sound that the droid makes when Padme is giving birth. Just there's a weird birth mother droid that just shows up in that scene. It's like, what is happening? I don't have any of my cooldowns. Whoops. Please write the word before we die. Please, please. We're all going to die up here. Oh? Oh, that's a time limit. Oh, was that time limit there before? And I just didn't notice it because I'm busy. Oh, that guy just fell off on his own. Yep, there he goes. I don't need other elements, I have electricity. Smack. Smack. Okay, please fix it. Please fix it. Please fix it. It's not looking great. It's not looking great. It's not looking great. Tola. 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 Wally. Oh. Well. That seems bad. Oh. Okay. No. 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 Are there more? Jump. Oh, here we go.
You did well.
Thanks.
The boy.
Just having a little fun, you big grump.
Why are sequels even here? Hello. You really didn't react correctly to the previous ones, seeing their fate. Wow. Axe proof. His body really does just stretch out into the distance. It's nuts.
Well, there it is. How are we going to get it free?
A push.
But
Trust me. Ready. Dig in and push with everything.
yes, sir.
How do you effectively push it away from the ledge with the arm like the amount of arm length you have is what I'm worrying. How do you get it at a high enough angle for it to topple over?
How do we get down?
We jump.
Really?
Come. Do not panic.
Why would I panic?
I have you.
You're cracked, you know that?
Well. Good. We should keep moving.
That was ill-advised on every level. The time saver, but a terrible idea.
The chisel tip.
Give the man credit. He has a talent for destroying things.
Remember that head.
Never lose
Wow.
the mind.
We just had a straight up terrain destroying moment like we did at the beginning of the game with Baldur. Where just like we opened up a fucking crevice. What a cool thing to do in this game. It's always a fun thing when you just transform the landscape. How do I get down there? Down. Down. Just drop. Grab it. I'm not trying to neg you or anything, but I'm pretty sure Nathan Drake's better at climbing than you. Nathan Drake would drop down and grab it. So would Lara.
Where are they? Fucking hate this. How do we do this? Does that hammer didn't fall on its own? Well, if we find them, I guess it's matter with you. I smell a dwarf. Find it.
Not now.
Can they find dwarves? Dwarves slip between dimensions, don't they? I'm not sure if they could find a dwarf. Alright, well, our friends seem to have tracked us down. I guess we did rather announce our presence, but goddamn, they sure got here fast. I guess they must have methods of getting from place to place. Oh, time to announce our presence by fighting. Or not. Oh, that's a climbing spot. We're going up there, I guess. I think we might actually get into a little Asgard fight, which we haven't fought an Asgardian since the beginning of the game. I don't think. Good old dragons and
Those were the guys we
strange
fought, Bob?
monsters.
His nephews?
Aye. Magni and Modi, the sons of Thor.
Mother always said the Aesir were the worst of gods, and Thor was the worst of the Aesir. Guess he's a terrible father, too.
They are no longer children. They have no excuse.
Will Sindri be okay?
They'll never even see him.
They are no longer children, they have no excuse. Huh. Interesting of you to wash your hands of the responsibility of parenting, Kratos, by implying that somebody just has to take care of themselves once they're older, and if they're fucked up, if they came out all fucked up, that's on them now.
Ah, the great dining hall. Envy of all Midgard. Remember the leaf. You just can't help but break things, can you?
No, it was a reflex. Like immediately, I was like, "Ah, there it goes." I think there was like a dining table full of people's bodies all laying down like, on the table. I don't know. I honestly didn't even take the scene, and I immediately was just like,
The Jarl's throne was just on the other side of that wall of ice.
I just have such an immediate reaction to something to blow up that I couldn't help myself. Hello. Ah, one of these. I bet I can fight that. It looks like it's one of those giants. Wow, he woke up from his slumber quickly. Like, no big deal. Ow. What is he doing? That looks like a new move. You killed the wolf. That wasn't nice. Wasn't he on your side?
I think you got him.
How to give a giant a nosebleed.
I can see a path out. There's no way to reach it.
A runic summon, boar stampede. Summons a stampede of boars that trample enemies in their path. Huh. An additional, so it starts off as one stampede, then it becomes 2 and then 3 stampedes. So just continuous attack over an area. Not bad. Wrath of the Wolf definitely does the damage and the stun, but boar stampede seems to be Good for crowd control? I don't know. Honestly, they have the same amount of stun. Well, this will eventually reach 5 stun at the end. Yeah. I think part of it's just that it's a continuous area, because this one summons a handful of wolves that target people individually, whereas the Stampede is a continuous AoE over an entire area, which means it's more consistent control over that area. Kind of like how the Elk, I think, is an area denial skill that controls a specific zone for a while. Like this attack, this Elk is something kind of like the it's like Hanzo's ult in Overwatch, where it's like this attack's going to persist in this location. So if you want to be out of the attack zone, you got to be out of that area, which means you can kind of control that area for a while and kind of be more safe. This is probably the most appealing looking ult to me, because that's the one I'm already using. Especially if you really increase its duration and maybe AoE. But this one's just really appealing. Especially since continuous area denial isn't necessarily that necessary most of the time. Dealing damage is pretty good at thinning out problems and making the game more manageable. So high damage on this thing's pretty appealing. But also the fact that it single targets a whole bunch of different enemies while having 3 wolves means that it's doing a lot of damage. It summons a wolf that attacks 3 times, and then I have 3 wolves that attack 3 times. Now that's 9 attacks. For 4 out of 5 damage. That is pretty alright. Yeah, we're totally getting the ability to open this. Maybe Modi or someone has it. Oft forgotten Sons of Thor.
I heard something.
Could be wrong, but they don't strike me as the most memorable characters in the Pantheon. Hey. Oh. Why would those guys come out? Where did they come from? They weren't even in the frost. That's a little weird. Clean and easy.
That was good, right?
You are more focused.
Huh. Indestructible. The game Control has me all curious about environmental interactions in some cases now. About how consistent some of them are. Hey, welcome. You're all free of your ice now. Oh, they're wolves. Oh, they look cool. Now die. God, that's a bad time. Deleted. And wolf on wolf violence. There we go.
I think we can get through there.
Excuse me? Yeah, I figured that hit something. I can't see from here, but there's got to be a path around there. Huh. I guess the Wolver's unlocked my way forward. Yeah, here we go. There we go. The Lich King, ladies and gentlemen.